Everyone, here to GTRC WTCC Season 11, round number 2. Watkins, Glen, USA is the venue. Early morning is the settings, and I'm not alone. Finally, I mean, last season we had not really a stream, and in the season before I had the company of Will Sutters. This time it is Tom Holland. I think
Hello.
Season 9 champion of the Tom Coronel Trophy, if I'm right.
Yeah, and I know nothing. Won a couple races. That's it. Came second a lot of times.
Well, it is enough to win the trophy.
True.
Oh, also, the owner of Team Spirit, the team who's currently second in the constructors, had a really good start in the season with Kubinski and Schultz. So just tell me, what are your thoughts about the first race? What is the competition like, and what is the guys to watch for you?
The grid's looking very good this season, to be honest. I don't think it's quite as strong as last season, but definitely today it looks really strong with the return of Tyler as well. So he's definitely one to look out for tonight, though he is in quite a bad car for it. But yeah, I think tonight and for the rest of the season, probably the main battle will be with Joe for Phantom S. It's really all we need to worry about. I have faith in Langstadler. He's struggling a bit today, but I think he'll get up to pace, and obviously Kubinski's on good pace, so I think he's going to do well as well.
Yeah, Kubinski always has the solid pace. It's for him, unfortunately, always the 50-50 situation with his Wi-Fi that cost him a few points in the previous seasons. But yeah, I think the same. Grid is really competitive, really balanced, as we saw it on Interlagos in the qualifying, where we had insane short gaps. And yeah, a lot of guys who I think are at least in range for podiums or race wins. Well, Kubinski is on a purple lap but has a half-second penalty. Yeah, Watkins Glen, interesting track. What do you think are the key points on this track?
Certainly, I mean, the run-up from the chase going into the bus stop, very important that you get a good exit out of turn 1, because that's really all the speed that you gain through that whole sector. It really affects you coming up to the bus stop. And then the bus stop is really who's the bravest, so you can break the latest. And then the same, if we go on board with Kubinski, he's coming up to where he serves his penalty. This next straight is very important as well. A lot of good overtaking points there. And then turn 1, obviously.
Yeah, also, as we have this mandatory pit stop, the pit lane is not quite a problem, but it is interesting as it is hard reduction of speed in on the racing line quite, so a bit of chaos potential, but I think all these guys are smart enough, and most of them should be on the similar strategy that they will pit in the same lap. It will be also interesting to see. And you
the
don't
Beamers
want
will go a bit longer, I think.
Possible. But
Beamers
I
usually
think
go longer.
Interlagos having an extra lap. Beamer maybe not, because short shifting in the Beamer has the opposite effect of fuel saving. They are a bit better on fuel as some of the front wheel driven cars, but overall I think they are it's not enough for an extra lap.
I think the worst car on fuel here is probably the Audi. Did a couple of laps in that last night. It's very quick around this circuit, but it's not great on fuel.
So you're talking about the Audi, we have Clark in it. Unfortunately, again, FR Racing again with just one car. Second time in a row, cost them a lot of important points for the team championship. But he left a really good impression on his debut. Also, if you say the TT is quick around here, definitely a guy to watch. Well, we are 1 minute away from the qualifying.
Clark's impressed me a bit this season. I've never raced or even heard of him before this. I think this is one of his Surf leagues he's doing. He's impressed me. He's come in with a lot of maturity, very sensible on circuit, and he's pretty quick to boot as well. Held off Joe for pretty much the entire of race 2 last week.
Yes, definitely. It was overall great race to watch. It was clean fights, and we had fights. This is something we missed under the dominance of Tyler in the previous season. And as we're talking about, the Swift is not quick around here. We have Tyler sitting currently on the fastest lap so far.
They'll get quicker than that.
Yeah, we have a lot of guys setting just one lap, or even having not a single lap.
I think in qualifying we might expect lap times 52.1s, maybe some will get into the high 51s, but you know, you expect that from your Tylers, your Devils, your Joes, your Will. Them top 4, I think you need to watch
So
out for.
before we start the qualifying, I will have to remove Mr. IST Thomas. Who absolutely missed the point to leave the lobby.
Maybe he speaks Polish.
This is one of the poor features of Gran Turismo, that you can join every lobby where a friend is in. I mean, it makes stuff a lot easier for league racing, so that you don't have to always add the host, but also everyone who is on a friend list can join. So yes. On to the qualifying.
Right.
First
Let's
on
hear it.
track.
What's your top 3 prediction?
Well, top 3. I saw Devil in the GT3 this weekend on Watkins Glen. He was absolutely impressive, so he's in my top 3. Tyler and I think Kubinski. I would say Devil, Tyler, and then Kubinski. It's a bit risky to not say Joe, because he's also very quick, but I raced a couple of times against Kubinski in the previous weeks in different leagues, and Kubinski is made a huge step. That's what I can definitely tell.
This is also one of his best circuits. My top 3 is the exact same as you. I think Kubinski will just sneak into there. He's putting lots and lots of hours onto this track. I feel like he might be one to watch.
But yeah, it's
Joe and Devil battling.
But you can see how strong the grid is if you can make a top 3 prediction without mentioning Joe or Will in the top 3. Also Ruben as a previous champion.
The top 6 is just too close this season. I feel like there's a very distinct top 6, which is very quick hit.
I'm pretty sure. I think Devil and Tyler are the guys who might be able to hit this one outstanding lap, but I think overall this can again be top 6, top 7 in a half a second.
I reckon Dougie's going for pole. Better watch out for him.
Yeah, I hope that the Hyundai is working better around here. I mean, it's really hard to jump in this grid with that experienced guys when you're quite new to league racing. But
yeah, the Hyundai's not a great car to jump in with as well.
Yeah, but he had great battles with Joker, who unfortunately pulled out after last week. Also picked up a penalty now.
Call him a wuss if you're watching this, Jeff. You're a wuss.
Okay, Devil will definitely not be the first guy to set a quick lap.
Oh no, he's absolutely flying right now. What do you mean? 30 kilometers? 60 kilometers? Oh. Gumball with Joe now then. Looks like he's gone slightly wide there, just dropped onto the grass a little bit. Shouldn't cost him too much though. Very laggy. Can't tell if he went wide there if he did get a good racing line, but looks like he's got a decent exit out of that corner. Very important for this straight. And this corner I've always struggled with. I don't know if it's actually a hard corner, but this corner I've always found more difficult than it actually is.
Yeah, I fully understand you, because for me the exit is a bit complicated. If you don't hit it perfect, you have the feeling that you're missing a lot of momentum for the straight. But if you go just a little bit too wide, you pick up a penalty. And
I think that's Kabinski and Witt both hit the wall there, coming into the final couple of corners. It's like Tyler could be on for a very good lap here in the background. 51. That's very impressive from Joe.
And Tyler,
I expected to maybe see 51s, but not this early.
Yeah, the fact that Tyler, who had, I think, clean air for most of the lap, is 2/10 off. Definitely a statement from Joe here.
So Will with quite an impressive lap, 52.5. His lap times are going to go down surely. He's not going to stay at 52.5. I know he's got more pace than that. So impressive from Langstadler though. He said to me, literally about 10 minutes ago, I was told that he was setting 53s. So a big improvement. And then Clark as well with a 52.7 P7.
Sophie also a good lap here.
His return now, first race of the season.
Yeah, should have been, I think, Indy, but now is replacing Ashby. It will be pretty interesting when Ashby will finally solve his qualifying ban. Because since he received it...
He still got one?
Yeah, from last season. And since he got it, he never raced again.
You know what that reminds me of? I think in Formula 1, Jenson Button still has some kind of penalty served yet.
I mean, pretty sure that he won't have a comeback.
Now, next week. You heard it here first.
Everything possible. So Ruben again struggling a bit. Is now improving, but not that much. Currently 8th.
Tyler hasn't improved from this lap, neither has Kabinski. Well, that's a great lap from Sutters, though.
Stereo was an improvement, stayed at P8. But also Sophie improved.
Just about can't break into the 52s yet for Sophie. Can he will by the end of quali with the light fuel loads. Have you set the lobby up correctly, by the way?
I have the same settings as last week, so
Is there just not fuel in qualifying?
yeah, this is the new rule of the season.
I did not know that. I like that rule. It's a good rule.
Yeah, it is. We're starting with Kwiatkowski had a penalty anyways. We're starting on low fuel anyway, so why wasting time in the pits to maybe kill a lap? Just go for fresh tires. And also, the only thing I really don't like about it is that it is now possible to just quit the track, go to the pits and start again. It looks a bit stupid in my eyes on stream, but it is still sim racing and not IRL racing.
I mean, also with the no fuel wear, it also means the laps are going to be a lot quicker than we're going to see in the race. So you can really see, push in max speed during this quali session, which I like. Giving the drivers a chance to properly push, it's good.
Devil currently improving, getting closer to Sutters.
I think he's just about kept it on there.
And the good thing about Watkins Glen is that it has 4 sectors.
Oh, he's going purple.
So let's see, final 2 corners for him. That's a penalty.
Oh, that's a penalty. Unlucky. Could have been a very good lap there.
Yeah, that's showing up. Let's see where the clock is stopping. 52.
Wouldn't have been pole, but still very good. That would have been enough for P2.
I think P3. But yeah, the good thing is, like predicted, top 5 currently in half a second. Now top 6 in half a second. Clark.
What a lap from Clark. Just singing his praises only a couple minutes ago.
And our current top 3 predictions are about 33% right.
Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to put Tyler Davison in the top 3, though, let's face it.
But also impressive the gap of Joe. So that was absolute fabulous lap from Joe.
I'm not sure how anyone's going to beat that. It's going to have to be a really perfect lap to beat that. Maybe Joe will even beat it himself.
I mean, it
Who
is,
knows?
of course, possible. It was his first flying lap, and he was sitting immediately behind Devil. And Devil stopped his lap before the chicane. So
True, he would have had the toe first sector.
toe and then no dirty air. But still, you have to bring it to the finish line.
Looks like now Joe's actually got some traffic up ahead. Oh, he's gone into the grass. Well, it won't matter anyway.
Lieutenant Davison currently on the out lap.
Just go on board for him for a lap.
Big slide here from Lipscomb, currently sitting in P10. I think after last week, I think he expected a bit more.
He's got good race pace though, Lipscomb. He made a lot of all the opportunities in the race.
Definitely. Also, he's pretty clever in keeping himself out of trouble.
Just keeping an eye on Tyler now. He goes on for his next final lap. The Swift is just a little bit slower on the straights than all the other cars watching now. 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers.
First sector is definitely not Suzuki land.
But I reckon it's really good through these winding corners, or these long corners coming up now. Was this the boot section?
Yeah,
Don't know
this
what
car
corners are.
Yeah, it is heel toe and whatever.
See, I've always gone off on a record in this league and in every other league that I love pink cars. But this might be the only pink car that I've wanted to bleach my eyes with. So
but
congratulations, Tyler, well done.
It is a difference of being pink and being pink. But yeah, lost a bit of time in the second sector. Still improving, but not that much.
If anything, this will just give him a buffer to Sutters, in case Sutters improves. But doesn't look like he will this lap. He's going purple, to be fair to him.
Let's see if he can take this corner better than Devil without getting a penalty. Yes, he can.
This could be a very good lap here. Not ideal through the final corner, but still carried enough speed. Oof. Close. Minor improvement. It's on the straights where he's losing the most time though. You see he went purple through the section with the most corners.
Yes.
So, strengths and weaknesses.
And with the Suzuki, it is not even really a disadvantage to be quick in the corners, because this car is so good on the brakes that you can just sit on the inside and brake so much later than other cars. Yes, drove it a couple of times.
Hate it for everything else.
So Devil on a penalty, no improvement for him here.
Could be improvement for Sutters though. Didn't see his first sector time.
Kaminski a bit wide here. Let's see if this is a track limit violation. I guess it was. Unfortunately, as he is on an improvement, that could have been enough to attack Devil.
Sutters currently is on what looks like a very tidy lap.
Let's see. The gap to Davison is less than a tenth.
Sutters is over
purple
a tenth
by
purple,
almost
2 tenths purple. Oh, that'll be a penalty, unfortunately.
I don't think so.
You went very wide on my screen. It might have been lag.
Still purple.
I stand corrected.
3.5 tenths.
My word.
wide, but should be okay.
See, Davison has improved while we were watching Will. Going to be a tremendous lap from Will here, though.
2/10 purple.
Oh, by 2/10.
Insane lap.
Very good lap.
Let's see
That
what Joe
Lexus
is
might
doing.
have legs around it.
And Joe
Oh, but Joe retakes
immediately
it.
counters.
He's saying to Will right now, anything you can do, I can do better. Incredible lap. Devil and Kabinski both have penalties.
So they're
Clark
done
is on
with the qualifying.
a lap.
Kubinski, if he hurries, he can set another lap, I think.
Yeah, he might have just about enough time.
Langstadler is done with his quali. Davison is done with his quali. Let's see what Soraya is doing. Well, we had the battle for pole. He at least jumped Sophie on the grid.
Clark is improving by a quarter of a tenth, but nothing to overtake Davison. And he's sliding.
Yeah.
That's his lap over. That's wide from Thoreau there.
Yes, 3/10 off now. Let's see if Sutters is able to counter again. No.
Thoreau's down as well. That's Ruben down on that time. Ruben's had a difficult start to this season. He hasn't. Not sure he's gelled quite yet with that BMW.
Can also be his throttle inputs. I think there's not everything 100% right with his gear, but yeah. BMW is difficult to drive.
Is Kabinski improving? I think he's the only one who's on the lap still.
In the cotton candy RCZ.
No, 3/10 down. Backstory behind that livery. I made about 3 other liveries before making that one. I just had to settle with that because all the other ones look horrible. Awful car to make liveries for.
At least a GR4.
Yeah, the Group 3 looks nice. Yeah, it's got penalties, so that'd be no improvement. So the top 3 are Joe, Sutters and Davison. So we've both got one of our predictions correct.
And on P3, so just about.
Just about. Clark, I think, is probably the shock of today, though. P4, very, very good from him.
And we have Devil and Kubinski in P5 and 6. Langstadler P7. So we have Halex, Team Spirit, and then Team Spirit Halex in row 3 and 4.
We only care about row 3 and 4, by the way. We're not going to spectate anyone else.
I'm pretty sure Sutters will win the
Devil's on
start.
the lap.
Devil can't be on the lap.
He is on the lap, I didn't realise that.
5 minutes 40.
Oh, wow. I did not see the time. I saw he was driving fast. Oh, that's a really incredible lap time from him, though. 5:44.
44. Not expected to see a 5:44 tonight. He must have taken a short layout.
Just got to wait till the timer runs out now. Most fun part.
The gap between P1, 2 and the rest is bigger than expected, to be honest, with 3.5 tenths.
Sutters and Witt, they're in a world of their own at the moment. I'm actually kind of surprised how much further ahead they are of Davison.
Yeah, and it will be interesting. I think Sutters will definitely jump Joe on the start, because Lexus start compared to Scirocco start.
He'll have a buffer though, with 2 other front wheel drives behind him. I think Devil's probably going to get a very good start as well. Same with Ruben.
Yeah, definitely saw it last week. Everyone is ready, so we are also ready. Looking for a great race.
Hope no one takes the NASCAR line into turn 1.
Well, I hope we will get as clean as in Interlagos through all corners.
Racing was really good at Interlagos, actually.
Yeah, it
One
was.
of
I
the best
think we had
races we had in a while.
just one incident, and it was just a minor one, not even penalized because the report was incorrect. But yeah, I think a lot of wheel spin here on Joe's car.
Interesting, he takes the launch in P2. Sorry, in second gear. Never noticed that. That's Devil had a really good start, challenging for P1 against Will, but seems to have been shoved wide just a little bit. Run out of space there on the circuit. Joe's just about managed to keep P2 in all of that carnage. Tyler's now coming up onto the back of Joe. Will Sutter's getting all kinds of shaky up in front. No clue what's going on there. That's given Joe a chance to come alongside. You see
Also,
3 wide
Tyler
going into the
is
bus
searching
stop.
for the gap.
Joe's ahead even before the corner. Oh my word. That's Tyler also through. And Devil. And Clark. So Will's lost the lead. Massively.
Dropped down to P4, P5. I think he can keep P4. Ruben with a poor start, dropped down to P10.
There's battle for the lead now as well. Joe and Tyler are going wheel to wheel. Is Tyler going to send one up the inside with the Superior breaking off the Swift? Definitely had a look.
Oh, Clark went wide.
Dougie's made some good positions as well.
Yes, he's on P7 immediately on Kubinski's rear. So must have had a good start. Oh, little incident between Langstadler and Sophie here.
That's Clark with a penalty.
Yeah, that's probably one of the smart GT7 penalties for running wide and losing time. Joe now able to build a little bit of a gap, while Devil is getting closer to Davison. Clark lost a lot of time, is now losing the position to Kubinski.
He's going to lose even more this next lap, having served that penalty too. It's really unfortunate. Looks like he'll be on for a good race. Maybe he can recover a position though.
Stay on this battle. Can the TT counter it on the straight? Currently looks like. But Kubinski is a tough opponent to fight.
Just keeping an eye up ahead, by the way. Will Sutters and Tyler Davison going wide. Will's bumped him a little bit.
Davison, Will went right again.
Very, very wide. It's given Tyler another chance down the inside. Is he brave enough?
Pick
Will's
the
got a
penalty.
penalty. Put him back into the clutches of Kubinski, maybe.
Yeah, this penalty line is not really well placed. You lose a lot of time. It's way more than you see it.
I think he's safe though for this corner at least.
Yeah. But Kubinski gained about a second.
But in all of this carnage, Devil's made, or Joe has made almost a second to Devil. Keeping nice, cool and calm out front. Devil, I'm sure, is going to be quickly onto the heels of him. You can just find a tiny bit more pace. We know how quick Joe is, but we also know how quick Devil is. So it's too close to tell at this point.
I think maybe if the, let's see the fuel. Scirocco currently looks a bit better on fuel.
It's not really much battling going on anymore though. Everyone's kind of spread out a bit. They're all behaving now. Tyler might be able to have a run though. Well, Sutters might be able to have a run on Tyler, who would be in slipstream. He's definitely got superior straight line speed than Swift. I definitely overestimated the slipstream strength. No way close.
Slipstream is in GR4s kind of non-existent. So I don't know what the problem with him. Oh, and Lipskamp losing the rear, hitting the
Devil
barrier
has a 1 second
inside.
penalty, by the way. Don't know what happened there. He might have caught it on the bus stop, might have cut it ever so slightly. Really horrible place to pick up penalties. He's now being attacked by Tyler. Tyler sends it round the outside. Might be able to make it stick. Swift is very good at overtakes like that. He does make it stick, but it won't matter because Devil's going to serve the penalty anyway. He's lost 2 positions, might lose a third.
Also against Kubinski. Kubinski also passed him.
Super unfortunate, but it leaves Joe out now with almost a 3-second lead on only the 3rd lap.
That's what it is. And while we saw it, keeping it clean, Joe went wide, hit the barrier. Cost him about half a second. I think we're gonna have the first pit stop at around 5.
What's happened to Ruben?
I have no clue. He must have had a poor start and is currently
there.
in a very intense battle with Lipskamp. First pit stop here from Dougie. Lost a bit of time when Lipskamp hit the inside barrier of the bus stop and came back on track.
I think Ruben might actually have a hard time here because, as we know from last week, Lipskamp is the widest Volkswagen I've ever seen.
Yes.
It takes up the whole circuit. Good improvement from Lipskamp though, since his first season coming in. He's been doing this for a lot of seasons now, and he's been improving consistently each one. So it's nice to see him properly come up, start battling some of the faster guys.
All of the guys. Could be a penalty, yes, for Dougie. Also on the...
That's Kabinski with a penalty. Kabinski has a half a second penalty, so we will lose out to Devil.
And all that penalties bring Clark back in striking range.
I think Kabinski will be safe from the overtake from Clark for now. He won't get caught by Devil. Yeah, not a big enough penalty for Clark to capitalise on it. And all that though, Sutters has caught back up to Davison. Could be seeing the second part of their battle, or third part. I don't know how much they've been battling this race. Feels like most of the race they've been battling.
So let's see if we're gonna see more pit stops now.
How did Kabinski get past Devil?
Must have missed that.
It might have been a mistake, surely. No way he could have made a move from that far back.
On the straight line, Kubinski should not be scared. BMW has just not enough beans.
RCZ is surprisingly quick on the straights as well. Didn't know it was that quick until this season. Devil's taking that corner really, really well though. He's right on the chuff of Dominik Kubinski. Is he going to be brave and make a lunge down here, or is he going to be patient and wait for a better overtaking opportunity? He's chosen option 2. There's a tiny bit of contact there as well, but looks of it could have been net code. You know how laggy Dominik Kubinski is.
The only person I see lagging is, like usual, Ruben.
Hasn't actually been that bad this round, has it?
It is minimal, and the good thing is Ruben knows that he's lagging, and attack from Devil at the inside. Kubinski went a bit wide, a little bit of contact there between both cars. I think you're gonna see both in the pits right now.
Joe's definitely... Yeah, he's definitely coming to the pits now, so that's the leader into the pits.
Tyler,
might cross the line
like
a little
expected
bit there.
in the Swift, going for another lap. Sutters is going.
Sutters is also in.
Devil could have been a bit wide here, violated pit lane.
There's a couple people gone wide there, I feel. Is that even... Yeah, even Tom and Ruben are both coming into the pits. It's going to be a lonely lap for Davison now, out by himself.
Here's at least Dougie on track.
Could Dougie make some positions? Because he did pit very, very early. He might be able to get an undercut on it.
The 3-second penalty could have killed his chances. Lap times are pretty consistent from him. I think now...
That's Lipscomb coming out the pits now. Yeah, not much chance. But I think Ruben has jumped Lipscomb out the pits.
And Devil is on
very good strategy
now.
from him.
Sutters dropped back to P5, picked up a 3-second penalty. Also
Same
Clark picked up a 3-second penalty.
I thought Sutters at least went wide.
For me, Devil was the only one who looked a bit wide, but thanks to the brilliant game, it's hard to predict.
I actually, recently I went back to GT Sport. Yeah, I just re-downloaded the game, see how it was. The lobbies are so much better.
Yes.
How have they messed it up?
I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. And it is from update to update. It is sometimes this PS5 better host at the moment, or for quite a long time PS4 is better to host. But there's so many factors. I mean, we're having a league that is the majority of the drivers is German or at least Central European, like Austrian, Swiss, and from Netherlands. And we have no lag. We have no netcode issues.
I mean, the lag issues now are definitely a lot better than what they were in previous seasons. You know, I remember, think back to season 7, it was impossible to do side-by-side racing. So
let's see if
at least it's improved.
Oh, Devil again not pitted for tires. Same
Davison
as
might
Clark.
be able to gain a couple positions here. Might even be able to jump Joe, which I think he just has. We'll see though. Joe, oh yeah, Joe's got way more speed from around turn 1. The gap's much closer now though after that pit stop. One of the strengths of the Swift.
Pretty sure they shouldn't worry about Devil. He's just a second behind, but on old rubber.
Oh, we didn't change tyres.
Same for Clark. Kubinski sitting on a half-second penalty, but sitting Sutters now under massive pressure. Is he going for a move in the bus stop?
Purple. Obviously, it won't matter. I think he's just going to stay patient behind Sutters, try not to lose much time. I think Sutters knows that as well. He's probably not going to defend it too much.
Serio also stayed on the old rubber. Jumped at least Lipscomb in the pits.
I'm not sure if that's the call anymore. A couple seasons ago, that was definitely the call for a lot of cars, but we'll see how it works out. This is a very tyre wear heavy circuit.
It really depends on your track position. For Ruben, he did it. Interlagos is quite the same on tyre wear. In race 1, it worked for him, as he could jump a lot of positions because the grid was so close. But maybe for tonight it isn't a call, as the grid is quite splitted through all those penalties.
Well, we'll see in race 2 if anyone opts to do the same thing again. I don't think there'd be many people, but who knows. Personally, I wouldn't do it around this circuit.
I'm pretty sure that we're gonna see an orange colored highlighted BMW pitting like lap 1 or 2 if he's stuck in traffic, and after 1 lap he will definitely not go for the tyre change.
We've seen Joe do that strategy a lot in the past as well, and it has helped him massively, so I wouldn't be surprised if... I think Devil's done it before as well.
Reverse grid, if you are really quick, it because you see you can have an insane pace. It's so hard to overtake in this GR4s. If you have an opponent with great straight line speed, the error rate, I mean, we have here a couple of penalties, but in Interlagos there's such a minimal error rate of the drivers that it's costing so much time just to sit behind the guy and wait for a mistake, because in the worst case for you in the chase, he will never do one.
I mean, this is... I can't really think of many types of racing that is closer than Group 4. Maybe, well, obviously touring cars, but one make series is also quite close. But every single tenth matters, and it shows quite a lot in this league, as Tyler's now going purple in his chase up to Joe. Might have the benefit of slipstream for this final couple of sections of the lap.
And we see that Devil is struggling to...
That's Sutter's overtaking. Sutter's just gone down the inside, textbook overtake on Clark. Really, nothing to call out from there. Clark is looking around the outside, never going to make that stick.
Immediately realized that Kabinski a bit wide. Little tap of the barrier.
Pace tonight of the top guys, though, really, really surprised by. I mean, you expect them to be fast, but like that's seriously quick lap times from them. Because I hopped in just to help Kabinski the other day. I set a couple laps in the Audi. Best I could do was like a 52.4, 52.3.
I mean, a 51 on race pace is impressive. Purple again. Gap from Joe to Tyler up to a second. Devil lost 1.5 seconds in sector 1, so
yeah, they're all spacing out a bit more now. Kabinski has a 1 second penalty, that looks like 1.5 second penalty, sorry, so he will lose out to Langstadler, but I think he'll be fine from Sophie. Clark is just losing Sutters now. Sutters seems to have just that tiny bit more pace than Clark at this stage of the race. Definitely those worn tyres really, really affecting him. See, that front left is going to be painful for these right-handers like this one. But he's definitely going to lose a lot of pressure with Kabinski serving that 1.5 second penalty. So he might be safer now, unless Langstadler can pick up the pace.
For Kabinski, it is more the time that is annoying that he lost, because I think if Langstadler realizes that Kabinski can go quicker, there won't be the big fight for position 6 between the two Team Spirit cars.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but I tell him if one driver's quicker than the other, let them through. No squabbling.
It's same for us. It's be smart.
If it's the last lap, though, go for it, which we might see in this case. There's a second between them. If Kabinski is going to be faster, it will be the final lap. So maybe a battle to look out for.
Davis.
Who's that with penalties? Sutters has a penalty. Probably caught out the exit of turn 1. Just went a little bit wide. When you take those right-hand wheels off of that curb, you're screwed. And that's probably what he's done there.
Could bring Clark in striking range. He's just a second off.
Clark has seriously impressed me so far this season. You know, P4 for him here could be very, very good. And good for FR, who still don't have a second driver.
He scored a podium on his debut. And P6 in the first race.
Might be an outside chance for maybe top 3 in the championship at the end of the season if he keeps this up.
Yeah, this is top 3 in the championship is now a bit more on pace. When I started, it was you were good for a top 5 if you made every race. But Sutters is far enough ahead to defend P4 for now. But has now Clark immediately in slipstream range, what can be dangerous. on the long straight to the bus stop.
Well, when I started this, top 3 in the championship were 3 drivers that haven't raced in the past couple of
We
seasons.
might have decision for the win because Tyler Davison picked up a half-second penalty. It's really
but he has gone
unfortunate.
fastest lap there.
Fastest lap. Gap
That's going
shrink
to
to
relieve a lot of stress off of Joe.
about half a second, and it might be the corner. He lost the victory against Ruben Serrao 2 seasons ago.
I can't remember back that far. I'm sure that was a great race.
It was a brilliant battle from the top 3. I think Ruben and Tyler were in half a second for the last 3 laps, and then Tyler, unfortunately,
wasn't that Tyler's debut?
Yeah, must have first or second race.
Sutters and Clark battling now. As Sutters back through to P4, Clark back in P5. He's definitely struggling with the tyres here, maybe even the fuel. I think he might be okay, but outside possibility, if he makes some kind of big mistake or loses more time, he might have to worry about a very pink Peugeot behind him. That's Davison now having to serve his penalty, which is unfortunate. What could have been that Suzuki Swift. Can't remember the last time a Suzuki Swift won a race. Must have been Catalunya with Wake. You might see it in race 2 yet. He's still attacking Joe, but there's not going to be a chance for him to overtake unless he's really, really ballsy.
If the pressure is high enough, he might force Joe into a mistake going wide. No, Joe keeping a cool head. Also hitting the final corner. That's the 2nd win this season for Joe.
Not quite a Grand Slam though. Didn't get fastest laps and not quite a Grand Slam for Joe.
Devil on P3 definitely benefited from Sutters and Clark picking up the 3-second penalty after the pit stop. Langstadler P6, 7 for Kabinski. Sophie best. Oh, no, it's not a privateer tonight. In the second 515 car. Ruben on an absolute worn day for him. P9.
His front left hanging off for dear life.
Lipscomb
Tom
P10.
with a P10. Unfortunate considering the highs of last week, but no doubt we'll see it. His battling again in this next race. He'll be right in the mix of it, starting P2.
I think on a driver on this level, it really depends how much you like the track, how comfortable you feel on the track. And Dougie is completing the grid with P11.
I think it was season 9 where he was in that Swift Lipscomb. He finished last in all of the races we did at this circuit, and
it's hard to say. I'm always more for an outsider's call. I mean, Joe did absolutely brilliant. And maybe if he can make it next week, we probably gonna see him doing a lot better on Watkins Glen.
For me, I think the standout driver is probably Devil. I think he drove very clean. I don't want to say quiet race, but not much happened. He kept his nose out of trouble. Came home with a good P4. Other than that, Joe, he obviously he had to battle against Tyler, but Tyler got unlucky with penalties. If things were different without the penalties, then it would have been a very, very different story. But Joe drove very well throughout qualifying and in the race.
So I think that was definitely enough time for everyone to save their replays.
Devil's not in the room, by the way.
Yeah, Devil won't make the second race. He was short on time anyways.
I've not been this disappointed in my whole life.
So, GTRC race 2. Load settings, double check. Rolling start.
I don't think there's going to be many surprises in this race. I mean, the reverse grid always throws up surprises, but I feel like this race is going to be quite easy for the faster guys to overtake. This track is usually very, very good for overtaking in general, but we'll see. I think could be usual suspects, top 3, maybe one of the Halex or the Spirit cars sneaks up into the top 3 as well.
I mean, there's 2 guys. I mean, Ruben struggled a bit, but if he's out of traffic with the BMW at the start, he might get a good launch and then have a good race. And also Kubinski, if he reduces the penalties he pick up, then he's definitely a guy who can go for a podium here. So there's Tom and Clark.
Crucially, Kubinski will be starting ahead of Langstadler as well, and no doubt they're going to try and work together as much as they can to make their way up the pace.
Clark already checked in.
As always, this race is a rolling start, so you're not going to see the advantage of the rear-wheel drive cars on the race start, so it's all fair game. This race, front-wheel drive is definitely going to have much more of a chance off the launch. Not that it matters though, because I think it's a rear-wheel drive that's currently on pole for this race.
Yes. So let's see if I can get the grid together out of my brain. So, okay, Lipscomb finally checked in. So that means we have Dougie on pole, Lipscomb on P2, Ruben on P3, Sophie on P4. Then we have third row, that's what you aim for. Langstadler and Kubinski. Clark on P7, Sutters P8, Davison P9, and P10 completing the grid is Joe Witt. Let's say start 35.
Apparently you didn't take a photo of the group results.
Of course I did.
Can confirm you did take a photo of the group results.
I'm pretty sure he's sitting on the stream and saw that. That's why I try to make the grid out of my mind. Yeah.
What are your thoughts of this race? Who do you think is going to win this one?
It is... reverse grid is always open. I think Tyler and also Joe have the potential to run from... It is just 10 cars, so that makes it a bit easier than 14 or 15 cars. They have the potential. But it will be really difficult, at least if Sutters, who has 3 front-wheel driven cars right ahead of him, getting a good start, and bring a bit of a gap between himself and Davison, and also Joe, it might be really difficult to catch up to him. But that is really depending on the start.
Yeah, I feel like the person who's really out of position for this start is probably Sutters. I know he's only just out the top 3 for the last race, but his pace is not far off the front 2. So definitely one to watch out for. Same with Kabinski, starting quite high up with pretty good pace.
Yeah, that's something.
Which unfortunately has been a theme for him in GTRC these past couple of seasons, either through disconnects or just by having some kind of laggy incident. He's always starting quite high up in the reverse grid. It's where I think he's gained most of his wins in this league, through the reverse grid races.
I have my only victory in GTRC history on reverse grid.
My first victory in GTRC was the first ever GTRC WTCC race.
Okay. I can just flex that. My first GTRC victory was my only GTRC victory. And I didn't even finish first.
Did you win out a penalty?
Yes, Slippert had a 10-second penalty and finished about 4 seconds ahead of me.
Disgrace, you fraud. Interlagos, I think.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. Yep, you told me about this.
I wouldn't even realize because we weren't in the Facebook group. It was the before Discord time. Wouldn't even realize if he hadn't told me. So, and we're rolling.
Tom's got his hazards on. For a sec I thought he was in the pause menu, but he must have just knocked it on his wheel. He's on wheel.
Tom going for a really good exit.
He's
Looking
got
for
a very,
the
very
attack.
good run. Yeah. He's gone slightly wide there, almost into the wall. Not ideal. Kavinsky already all over the back of Sophie, and he's got the toe from Ruben. Goes down the inside, he's just held up a little bit by the BMW's extraordinary. Oh, there's contact
Bit
there.
of contact between, but both drivers managed it to make it around the corner. Really risky to go side by side through the bus stop.
Nothing dirty there, just where Kavinsky put his car. That was always going to happen, really. Clark is under pressure from Sutter. Sutter's already through.
Also
Same with Davison.
Davison is now the outside line.
Oh, he's going for it. We saw this overtake earlier on. He hasn't pulled it off on Clark this time. Oh, he's run out of room there on the circuit. So could we see Davison and Joe maybe pit earlier?
Probably. I think. But usually they
Definitely
are
a possibility.
watching.
Well, that's
watching the
Kabinski off the
tires.
track. Not sure if there was contact there or whether he just went wide. Didn't look like a fun incident though. Sutter's now trying to go around the inside of Kabinski. Kabinski just stays cool and calm, keeps ahead.
Let's see if Clark
Oh, wow.
is getting away without a penalty, it seems like.
Dougie's led a lap. He's about to lose P1 though. I was just about to say he's kept P1. He's done very well keeping Tom behind him, but he's just lost P1.
Also, Ruben slipped through the gap. And Ruben is attacking Lipskamp. I think the Scirocco should be quick on the straight line.
It's going to be difficult for him to get the run on coming into the bus stop.
Also, Sophie is now setting Dougie under pressure. Dougie is covering the inside line. Sophie's going
It's
for
going
the
to
move.
end bad. Oh, that might be a penalty there for Sophie. Not too sure how clean that was. Who was that?
Penalty for
Just
Ruben.
binned it there.
I think it was just a brilliant executed move from Sophie, and I think Sutters
Fair
is sitting
enough.
on a penalty. Yes, 1 second penalty for Sutters. And contact between Sutters and Dougie.
Oh my word!
And also Clark was involved, I think. No, Tyler Davison.
Tyler Davison was involved in that. Sorry, the only reason I say Sophie might got a pen there. Didn't know you could cut the curb that much. Jeez. But he's now up to second. So Langsadler might get past.
I want to see.
Ruben's just about hold him off there.
Langsadler looking for the inside, but not close enough to go for the move. I think what we saw was an unlucky racing incident. It looked a bit like Dougie lost his rear, and then Sutter had nowhere to go.
Collected 2 cars.
But yeah, with Sutters and Davison.
Super. Well, Langsadler going for a move now, and Ruben done before the corner even started. Really good straight line speed from the RCZ. Really poor from the BMW.
Definitely. BMW tracks are coming. Next week, Robert Lander.
I look forward to it. It's also Kabinski now, pulling alongside at the exit of the chase. He'll also have the benefit of slipstream from his teammate up ahead.
On this straight, the BMW is definitely not a weapon.
Ruben actually told me the reason why he picked this car.
Please don't tell it.
He's just picked up a second. Ruben wanted this car because he wanted one of the... Look at Dominik Thiesen, sick. He's very, very good at making liveries. We can all agree on that. And Ruben thought he wants a livery for the BMW, so he picked the BMW.
That's why he picked the fucking Megane last season.
Is it really?
Yeah, and I told him several times, just ask me for a livery.
Jeez.
Don't struggle a whole season with the car, but I think he's enjoying driving this car, and so it's fine. He picked up a penalty, dropping down to P7 now. So his chances are gone.
Loads of positions.
But Joe is definitely now maybe picked up a penalty. Let's see.
One that we haven't looked at for a while. Sophie's caught up to Tom quite massively here. Could be a chance to lead here for Sophie.
So no penalty for Joe. Also fastest lap from Kubinski now. Joe is countering it.
Obviously these two teammates last season, now racing for 2 different teams. I'm sure they'll still treat each other with just as much respect as last season. Oh, I'm pretty sure they did report each other a couple of times last season, so if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was only one report, and it was not intended to report his teammate, but the incident was between the teammates.
Just about kept ahead with the bus stop. Joe's got a really good run here. Tiniest bit of contact, but he got his nose in. That's P4 for Joe. He'll be hounding down this league now. Looks like Tom's actually managed to pull out a little bit of a gap to Sophie since I last looked at them. So if Sophie can keep this up, or Tom can keep this up, maybe there's a chance for him to get his second win at GTRC?
Possible. I mean, Joe is not that far away.
It's
Usually
really an outside chance
say
with Joe so close.
Langstadler is definitely also a guy for the win, but at Watkins Glen it doesn't seem like he has the pace. Maybe good enough for the podium tonight.
He hasn't caught Sophie enough though in these last couple of laps to make an impact.
So lap 4, will we see the first pit stops?
It's the beginning of the crossover stage now. Oh, I think that is Kabinski in the pits.
Kabinski's going for the undercut.
Look how bad his tyres are even after 5 laps.
Look how
I
bad
do
his
pity all
pit
of the
crew
from the
looks.
dry cars. What, bright pink.
These guys looks like they are nude.
It's not even. It's this bloody skin pink. I've never even thought of that. Cheers. Cheers for putting that image on my head. Thanks. That's a lot of fuel for Sutters, by the way. 30%, 30 litres. Sutters also pitted. Could be looking for some kind of undercut. Who's that with penalty? That's Joe with half second.
Dougie also pitted quite early and massively overfueled.
We missed this. Sophie's taken the lead. Tom has a penalty, and so does Joe. So this could be Sophie 1 and Langsadler 2 by the end of this lap. Maybe Davison 3.
Joe also under pressure from Davison here. Will definitely lose position. Will be interesting to see if anyone out of this top 5, top 6 is deciding to not change tires. It saved about 5 seconds.
Langsadler's picked up a penalty as well. Tom's actually managed to keep ahead of him, which is quite good.
Maybe Joe picked up another penalty.
Where's Davison go? Davison's up to third.
However he made it.
I don't know where that overtake came from. Didn't know he was that close. Fair enough.
So yeah, Davison again going
That's
for
now Sophie into the
another lap.
pits. Yeah, everyone's pitting except for Davison. Wonderful. Just noticed Sophie's got the Algerian flag on the side of his car. I think that's Algeria. I did not know he was Algerian, but I've never asked him. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's the Algerian flag.
Come on, flag knowledge on point. Always get it mixed up with the Pakistani flag, even though I don't think they look anything alike.
Coming out of the pits first.
Is Kabinski going to be able to jump any of these? He did get a penalty whilst he was at the back of the grid, so yeah, he is a bit further back than he would like to be. He's going to pick up another penalty as well, going wide there.
Has a bit of momentum. Will overtake Clark. Definitely will lose this position again. Maybe also attacking his teammate. Smart move. I think Langstadler lifted up quite early to not give you a heart attack, having 2 Spirit cars going too wide into the bus stop.
More interesting for the stream, that's all I care about.
Interesting. Ruben this time changed the tires. Sutters came out of the pits on P9. That's quite interesting. I mean, he had this incident with Dougie in the early stages of the race.
I don't mean to be that guy, but just looking quickly on board. Okay, no, maybe that was just a one-time thing. I think Ruben's shifting a bit late.
Yeah, he knows how to shift, but he always saying if it's annoying, he just full rev it.
Fair enough.
Maybe that's also a point why he's struggling a bit with the pace. Well, I can't even look on this Taylor Swift car. Even it makes me angry if cars don't run center lock rims and there's a mandatory pit stop.
Oh god, he doesn't have center lock rims.
No.
Oh dear.
The only thing that even looks more weird is having the Red Bull Junior in the pit lane, where the pit crew teleports the wheel through the wheel cover.
They phase through the car.
Tyler Davison getting
realistic.
back on track on P1, so
really big gap.
The overcut worked.
Joe's going to have to clear these other 2 quickly if he wants even a chance to win this race. To be fair to Lipscomb, he's holding his own very well.
Definitely.
We've seen this more and more often in the past couple of races. That's Kabinski with a 1-second penalty again.
Definitely losing all contact to the podium. And Clark is losing his car and is wide into the barrier. And Sutters almost crashed into him. had to go wide.
That's two. Oh my word, Clark's lost so much out of this. But Ruben's also capitalised. Sutters slid a little bit on the exit there. That's Ruben through as well.
Really, really dangerous. It's quite a blind spot. I think it's hard to judge for Sutters how much speed Clark still has.
Joe is still battling Lipscomb, by the way. Joe's been just shafted into the wall there by the looks of it. We see he's also using a Wario helmet this race, I'm pretty sure. That looks like Wario. Last week he was using Mario.
Oh yeah, he told
Next week, who knows what helmet.
As long as Davison is not racing a Taylor Swift helmet, I'm fine.
Shall we check that?
No.
I think he's got a Valentino Rossi helmet, so you're fine. He did put in the Discord a couple of days ago, Joe, saying because it's Watkins Glen, he's wearing a Wario helmet.
Okay.
Terrible.
And Joe is absolutely struggling to get past Tom Lipscomb, and this is
Great
the
from
best
Lipscomb.
that can. Great from Lipscomb, and the best that can happen to Davison. Because Sophie currently don't have the pace to follow him. Joe might have the pace, but is stuck. But now played the
about it.
dummy, but it's not easy to overtake Lipscomb.
Lipscomb is not falling for that.
Also is benefiting from this battle. He's almost back in contact with Joe.
Slips just commented in the chat saying that you're secretly obsessed with Taylor Swift, but you don't want to admit it. Is there anything you want to tell us?
No.
Trying to think of something.
I have absolutely
Taylor Swift
nothing
songs
against
making
Taylor Swift. It's not my favorite music. I couldn't name 2 songs of her, but I'm
I
obsessed
can't
with
stand Taylor Swift.
beautiful liveries, and a Taylor Swift livery is not what I consider beautiful on a race car.
Tyler Davison put blood, sweat and tears into that livery. You take that back. I'm sure he spent ages making that. Certainly looks like it.
Yes. Going for the search bar, looking for Swift, finding Taylor Swift, finding it's a good joke, putting stupid Taylor Swift on the car. Selecting stupid colors. Maybe 10 minutes. 12 with uploading.
Oh, that's a big penalty for Lipscomb. 1 second penalty. It's going to be Joe getting through now on this lap.
Also, Langstadler will pass him.
It's really unfortunate for Lipscomb. He's been driving a really good little race here. Maybe defending a little bit hard at certain moments.
I'm pretty sure Joe will send a prayer to the heaven.
Joe will be thanking whatever god there is, the Volkswagen god.
So now Tom should unfortunately drop down to P5. Not leaving the racing line.
Wonderful.
Also,
So Kubinski, I think,
Kubinski
just
must
served
have
a
had a
penalty
penalty. Or just missed
Just
the
lost
throttle.
out massively. Yeah, he could have just forgotten to accelerate on the straight too. You know, that happens. He's gone wide there, I think.
A lot of guys are struggling in this race. Again, Ruben struggling. Clark this time. Sutter's had this incident, is now on a comeback. But 2 laps to go.
If Sophie's not careful, he might lose this P2 by the end of the race. You know, we see the pace of Joe these past couple of laps, and throughout the whole night, it's way better than Sophie's. He's got to try and be a bit more consistent if he wants to keep this P2, maybe even P3 if Landstadler can catch up as well.
At least Joe Tires looks much better, and now he has the exit and also the speed.
I did not realise they were already battling. This could be really bad for him. Could be a maiden podium for Sophie.
Sophie covering the inside line. Are they going too wide or is someone backing out? Joe is smart enough to back out.
He's defended it well.
Now trying it
Just
around
me,
the
or
outside.
Joe is quite laggy on my screen. It might just be me.
No, it's my screen as well.
Can't imagine that's very fun for Sophie to battle. Oh, turning a little bit under braking there.
That was not a smart move. Brings Langstadler back in striking range, and the RZZ has enough power on the straight line.
Going 3 wide, or almost 3 wide in this corner, almost 3 in a bed. Sophie's gone slightly wide off the apex
wide
there.
And both might pass him. At least Joe is now past him. Sophie has the inside line against Langstadler now.
Defended it well against Langstadler. All of this is bringing Tom back into it though. Lipscomb might have another chance at the podium.
Davison going into the final lap with a 3-second gap, but the fight for P2, 3 and 4, maybe even P5 is absolutely intense today. Langstadler now is side by side with
can to
Sophie.
brake late through this corner. There goes Sophie down the inside.
There is contact. There is contact. Let's hope that Langstadler is not getting a penalty for this, because this mistake is definitely on Sophie.
He'll be fine. Fun gimmick in this game. If you have any kind of contact throughout the corner, you can run as wide as you like and you won't get a penalty.
Yeah.
And I've used that as
turn
much
4
as I
in
can.
Interlagos, I lost the podium because exactly that happened. Sometimes, yes, it realizes, not always.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Oh, there's
there was
contact
even
again.
more contact between Sophie and Langstadler. So this
They've just got to both keep their cool here, because they've
P3
both lost out to Lipscomb.
and
Oh, that's Sophie!
Lipscomb.
Lipscomb hitting it to Sophie. Oh my word. It's getting really feisty here. And that's Langstadler on the grass. He's lost so many positions out of this battle.
And this brings even Will Sutters back into podium range. So P1 and 2 is now pretty much sorted.
Sutters looking on the outside of his teammate for this week, Sophie. Sophie has got the slipstream. Is Sutters going to be able to make a move? Not quite.
Contact here between Sutters and his teammate.
There is contact though.
Sutters wide, touching a bit the barrier. Langstadler in this situation, definitely the poorest guy. Didn't make any contact, but lost the most positions.
I don't want to do Michael's job for him, but I definitely think there's going to be a lot of reports tonight. You see Davison cross the line for the win.
On P2,
Joe P2.
And it's Lipscomb with P3,
almost
P4 for Sophie,
finish.
And Sutters on P5.
Multiple cars on the side of each other behind him.
Kubinski P7 and 6, Clark on P8, Serio on P9. Dougie will complete the grid with P10. It's really unfortunate for him that there's, after Joker left, currently no one who he can really fight, but...
Props to him for sticking with it though.
Yes, really appreciate it.
I know a lot of people who'd just quit.
Would just quit or... But if you see this, Dougie, set yourself small target, look what you are in average away in the qualifying, and then try to shrink this gap. And maybe don't pick up a 3-second penalty for spinning over the line. I mean, it is not important, it will not drop him.
That was an interesting race. Definitely going to be a couple reports, I can say that for sure.
Pretty sure. Also great fights. I think we saw nothing really bad. We saw maybe, at least in the last couple of laps, a few quite ambitious moves that could have been handled better, but we will see. It was definitely more exciting than the first one. Yeah, whoever's watching, I'm doing screenshots again. He was pretty flawless in the second race. He did a great job in the first one, and this I would have maybe gone with Lipscomb if his first race was better. Same for Sophie, but it is between Lipscomb and Davidson for me. Davidson
I've got
is
to agree with
the
you on that
obvious
one.
choice, but
Well, sometimes it's not bad to pick the obvious choice. I feel like Davison did everything right tonight. Got a bit unlucky with penalties at a certain point, but did very good considering the car he's in, considering the track, and yeah, good return to GTRC.
definitely. I mean, battle of the day could again be Kubinski against the track limit, but we had this joke 2
What,
seasons
for like
ago.
the 50th time?
I mean, this is kind of his only weak spot, and you see it's now 12 seconds or almost 13 seconds. If we were to reduce all the penalties, I'm pretty sure he would be in range of Joe, definitely in range of Tom, so podium potentially. But yeah, 5 Brits in the top 5. Interesting. We need Hamza back. Or Ruben on a solid pace. And next week, Road Thanks, microphone. I mean, it went good for almost the entire stream.
One mess up at the very end.
But I think we might see the BMWs on a better pace there. I mean, Devil today showed in the first race that its car is competitive for the podium.
That straight's gonna be very difficult for the BMW and maybe for the Swift if Tyler shows up again.
Yeah, but the long straight might be difficult, but the part before the long straight is very, very technical, and if you hit the corners perfect in the cars that have the strength there, you should make a big enough gap to also a lot of potentially chaos, especially at the standing start. Turn 1 is really difficult at Road Atlanta. Also the following
Great circuit.
S section, chicane, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's one of my personal favourites. I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of drivers also really like the circuit. Maybe we might see Witchell. It is his favourite circuit as well, so who knows?
I'm pretty sure we're going to see Devil, as it's his favorite circuit. But yeah, then bring us Hamza, bring us Davison, and let's set the world on fire.
Might even have a 4-way, 5-way fight for the lead. Could be good.
I think it's time to end the stream because my headset is now struggling more and more.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, third time in 2 minutes. So everyone, have a
Cheers
great
for
evening.
watching.
Thanks, Tom, for being with me tonight. And we see each other next week. Same time, same place. Have a good night.